Well, hello, listeners, and welcome back to the Purposeful Marketing Podcast. Aaron and Kevin are here to do this kind of new format again, the Performance Marketing Roundtable, right? So you have two performance marketers, two senior performance marketers at that, and we're going to kind of start to break down, chunk up, and discuss the things that impact us day to day. So we can have good conversations, we can pull out some insights, and as I've been doing in the episode notes, but I'll repeat here, is send us your questions or DM us on LinkedIn. Again, we're doing this for all of us so we can all get better at this job function. So I'd be happy to kind of start taking some of those questions and then we dialogue about it. So today we really want to talk about one specific channel within paid social, and that's LinkedIn ads. And there's definitely going to be a reason why, and I'll kind of get to that in a sec. But if you didn't catch the last episode, we talked more high level about creating demand and capturing demand. We're in the create demand portion. We're going to start breaking down those channels. This is really important. We wanted to start with LinkedIn ads and simply with the question, why LinkedIn ads? I'm going to talk a little bit about it and I'll pass it over to Kevin to kind of give his viewpoint. To me, I think the number one reason why LinkedIn is specifically about the verticals and industries that Kevin and I work in. Is we work in B2B marketing, but we work in B2B marketing where there's deal sizes that are very large, can be about 7 figures. The sales cycles are really long. They're definitely 90 days plus. And then again, our customers in industrial, medical device, professional services, they're subject matter experts. There's just a lot of content, information, and ideas that need to be digested in these buying cycles. So I think LinkedIn ads is a great place to do that and accomplish these things. Now, I'll kind of stop there, throw it over to Kevin, and we'll kind of break down more specifically of, again, why I'm thinking that way. So for Kevin, how about you? Why LinkedIn ads?
Yeah. Why does it work for B2B? Like you're saying, to me, it's really because LinkedIn works off of mostly first party data. Like when we're building an audience to target within LinkedIn Campaign Manager, you're using all of the data that people are willingly giving to LinkedIn and putting on their profile. Like if you want to target by industry or job title or even company, you can do that because someone has put within their profile, like for myself, Gorilla 76. If somebody wanted to target Gorilla 76, I would be in that bucket because I'm giving LinkedIn that information. And over the last few years, we've seen more and more things change as far as privacy. Of course, there's iOS 14.5 that Apple rolled out in 2021 that greatly affected digital marketing, targeting on Facebook and Google ads. But with LinkedIn, that hasn't really been affected because they own all of their data. So because of that, it's cool with B2B. You know who you want to target. Like sometimes you even know the names of these people. So all of that information is there in LinkedIn's like database, and you can pull from it and target however you want.
Yeah, that's the important piece. And we'll do an episode on Facebook and we'll talk about that and the differences and again, what you'd want to do on Facebook versus LinkedIn ads. For B2B, why it matters so much is generally most of our clients and their customers is they do know who they are. What they need to do is provide value, education. They need to offer the answers, these very complex solutions, because again, that's what the field is, right? And someone's selling heavy machinery, there's probably 20 people involved in that deal, and it's also super technical. So this is a great channel to do what we want to do from a create demand standpoint, is get the right content in front of the right people. And as Kevin's saying with the data, man, that's really straightforward. We can target companies, we can target names, we can, if we're doing some kind of lead gen, we can build all that first party data, utilize it, get the right content in front of the right people. I think another great place to kind of talk about why LinkedIn ads is really just the measurement. And I'll let you have first run at this one, Kevin, and I'll kind of come in and what I think about, like, why is the measurement so great on LinkedIn ads? What does it help us do?
Yeah. So with LinkedIn ads, like measurement, you can, what do you mean by measurement? Exactly. Like,
This is great. I love this. Let's follow
yeah,
up question here. Yeah, I
yeah,
think so. We're tasked to reach goals. I think LinkedIn offers different measurement, and where I was going to go is kind of the qualitative versus quantitative. I think there's certain things we look at on LinkedIn ads channels. We may look at conversion rate. We may look at average click through rate. Maybe because again, these are the right people and we know they're there, and we have a much straightforward targeting. We're more interested in how they engage with the ad, more interested in how they view the ad if it's a video, right? We want to see how they consume the content. Maybe that doesn't apply to you at all, Kevin. And I think that's why we're here to kind of debate back and forth. But you can kind of take it a different way too, and we can really start to deconstruct that.
yeah. Well, with LinkedIn, I mean, I see the measurement being similar to what it is on other platforms. That's why I asked like for clarification, because it's like on a platform like LinkedIn, like you can, like you're saying, like look at video view rate, you can look at click through rate, you can video completion, um, just overall reach, right? Of like how your ad is being distributed. That's one thing we look at a lot, is how big is your audience, and then how many people are actually then seeing it. Like, what is the reach? So there are a lot of things, like a lot of metrics that you can look at to break down not only just like how popular is the ad, how many people are clicking on it, but what is the actual distribution, right? Like if we're looking to tell a story over time to this audience, how is that being built? Um, so yeah, that's how I look at it with LinkedIn. There are, there are definitely some things that LinkedIn is better at than other platforms, things they're not as good at. But I'd love to hear like where your head's at.
Yeah, that's great because I think our listeners may also have never used a platform before, and that's what I'm trying to get us to dive into. And I think what's important is a lot of the metrics we use across the board are available in all platforms, all channels. And so there are things we look at in LinkedIn, Facebook, Google Ads that are very similar. I mentioned some click-through rate, conversion rate, all those things. I think what's so special about LinkedIn ads is one, what Kevin's talking about is understanding audience distribution. Is to me, I think it's just way more straightforward in setting up an audience, understanding who's in there, actually being able to pick the right parameters to reach those people, and then understand again how much money is it going to take to reach them. I think some other platforms a little more confusing, maybe like running like Google video ads right on YouTube, a little less confusing of like who exactly are these people, and if I spend this much money, are they actually going to reach them? I think LinkedIn, we get some of that data, right? So I think that's how I utilize it a lot is, really we're getting tactical here is the clients I work with is I know they have a lot of best fit customers in their ICP. I know they know the job titles. I know they know the companies, but we don't know if they're on the channel. So we have to go test that. We have to go validate that. So I set up things that I call market experiments, right? It's this job title at this company size with these job functions, go down your list to really chunk those up. Okay. What LinkedIn's great at is one, giving us the ability to do that, and then getting some demographic data back where I can see like, are these the actual job titles like I was trying to do? Now, are those job titles actually reacting the way I want them to, seeing the metrics, like are they getting the impressions? Are they clicking through in those things? So let me kind of, as I'm rambling, let me ask you a question, Kevin. Is there like just certain aspects when you're looking at data in LinkedIn that you just like better? Like, do you like the demographics report? Do you like when people react to the ad and you can see it? Are there like things you pick out like that?
Those two things that you just said are probably my favorites that differentiate it from, say, Facebook. Being able to look at the demographic data, locations, like all of that is just like really insightful. Because you can build an audience. Say you're targeting senior level people. You can look at your demographics data and maybe somehow that ad is reaching non-senior people or like non-decision makers if you're just looking to reach decision makers. So then that can change your targeting strategy. Like, oh, maybe I should add in some exclusions, things like that. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think it is really nice that you can see the exact profiles of people reacting and commenting, because that is more of like a directional guide of, okay, I've got 9 reactions on my ad, and 7 of them are like exact fit or like close match customers. Like, so that's telling you, oh, my distribution is moving in the right direction.
Hmm.
Um, you can see those things on Facebook, but sometimes it's not as obvious. Like, what is this person's job title? Again, first party data, all on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest thing in this job. I think is like going across channel and then trying to do the same activities. But I think what's important, and like what Kevin's saying, is like we're trying to get distribution right. We're trying to understand the direction. There's metrics in all these channels, but again, what we think with LinkedIn ads is it's really good again at showing us who they are and what their job title are. Man, that's great positive feedback we can take. And we can say, I don't even need to look at the data right now. Like these are the right people. Let me get more content to them. Let me distribute that. Another aspect of, again, why I like LinkedIn ads is more specifically what I do a lot of working with my clients is like they just don't know their market very well. So I really utilize LinkedIn to kind of see like who are the people reacting to the ads. And sometimes I do very manual things like when we're talking about measurement here is like I actually go to their profile, I like put it in a spreadsheet. I tag certain category things like what company, what type of company are they categorized on LinkedIn, what's their job title, what ad they reacted to, and then I like link the ad in there. Great. Now I'm just building this very manual thing over time that I can answer that question again. Like, are we reaching the right people with the right content? I can hand off this spreadsheet and we can all look at it as a group. That's pretty actionable. Sometimes I like that more than just looking at like a report of data and just being like, oh, data's going up, data's going down. Have you tried anything like that, Kevin? Or again, how are you using, again, seeing people reacting to the ad? You mentioned a little bit, but let's talk about that more.
Yeah, I just, to me, it's like, it's sort of a pulse check, right? And it's really cool to tie back to if you have everything LinkedIn on your CRM, like if you say you get a lead come in and it's attributed to social media, whether it's like self-reported attribution or you have some sort of way to track that back, but you're getting leads, maybe they're good, maybe they're not, but then you can go look into your reactions and see, is that lining up with the leads that are coming in as well? So I like your idea though of actually tracking it like within a spreadsheet and having some like visible data to bring back. I've mostly just sort of used it as like a like directionally like a checkpoint kind of thing.
Totally. And again, I think that's important because what you're going to want to use with this channel, I'm thinking maybe we have another episode about like just account structure and setup, is we need to know the direction because like what we're going to test, what Kevin and I are going to test, and I know Grilla does this. I was there, we're doing it, and Proof when I do it too, is like I want to like test like case study content, social proof content versus maybe like narrative ads versus like product ads that like talk about a pain point. I want to like now go to that market that I know is the right people. I want to see what resonance for the content is and get that feedback and direction Kevin's talking about. So I can go back and quit the rest of the team and say, well, we need more case study content. It resonates the most with this market on this channel. I can see the people. That's why we love LinkedIn ads. Now, great. Let's go move. Okay. So with our time, we definitely talked about why LinkedIn. I do want us to end why not LinkedIn and why would you think about not using this channel? So I'll kind of set the ground for the first point and I'll throw it to Kevin. Cost. I think when you have to evaluate how much paid media budget I have to distribute, you may want to take a step back and think about, is the LinkedIn ads channel and platform the right platform for me? You want to kind of expand on that, Kevin?
Yeah, so that's a big question that comes up a lot. Why is LinkedIn more expensive? There's CPMs, which stands for cost per thousand impressions. Like how much money are you paying per thousand impressions you get on the platform? CPMs on LinkedIn are like drastically higher than Facebook, sometimes 10x higher for the same audience. And people sometimes balk at that, or they're just curious, why is that the case? It really is because of the value of the data that LinkedIn has and the context of the platform, right? Like when people are scrolling on LinkedIn, they're expecting to see business related content. So it's much easier to do a B2B offer. Mm-hmm. And I think that can be a drawback, right? Like if you don't have a proper budget with your audience size to grow at it, you're not going to see much distribution and much like positive results. So that's one reason why, like, you don't want to do it unless you have a big enough budget.
Yeah, and I think that's super important. And I was just thinking when I was doing this for a SaaS agency, like, man, the amount of budget I had to go test these things was insane. Now, if you don't have that budget, maybe you have like less than $1,000 a month, right? That could be possible for the clients we serve. I would still think about it, right? Because it has a higher average CPM, but again, the question is, if these are the right people, how much does it cost for me to get this content in front of them? And how important is that to me? Now, it may not be important at all, right? And then maybe you're listening to this, you're like, well, I'm not going to use LinkedIn ads. That's kind of what we're trying to explain, is you should really think about like your goal and what your objective is. If you're trying to create demand and reach the right people at the right time within your audience size, I still think LinkedIn's pretty good unless you don't have the budget. So that kind of gets me to the next point I want to talk about, like why not LinkedIn is, again, budget is important when you're trying to have more conversations about sales measurement. What's the ROI of the activities we're doing? If I pay this much, what's the acquisition cost payback, right? So once you start to get into that realm, I'm going to let you talk about this a little bit, Kevin, is I think I would probably say maybe LinkedIn's not the best channel for profitability. For me, again, I'm not trying to be profitable, right? I'm trying to learn something about my customer, again, with how I'm explaining it. And that's why I think is so powerful about the platform. Do you want to talk a little more about that, just sales measurement or profitability, or again, maybe why not LinkedIn?
Yeah. People always have Google ads on top of mind, right? Because I put money in, I get leads out. It's not really how LinkedIn works. You can try and run it that way. But it usually doesn't play out the way you want it to. I think of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a marketing channel. Google is a sales channel for the most part. That's how B2B companies usually think of it, right? But LinkedIn is a marketing channel. It's a place that you create demand, you build brand, you build awareness, right? LinkedIn's, even the on-platform tools of tracking leads, conversions, things like that, they're okay, but they're not great. They're not perfect. So you're not even, if you're looking to measure your return on ad spend, your customer acquisition cost through your LinkedIn ads, even if you are getting customers coming in from there, it's not going to be 100% accurate. And you could end up making some bad decisions if you're relying just on that data. So I think it's important to differentiate it that way, right? Like, it's not an immediate thing, but if you play your cards right and you do things well on LinkedIn, it can very much be a return. You can see a return 6 months, 12 months, even beyond down the line.
I love that. That's so well said. Nothing to add to that. I think that's a really important distinction about it being a marketing channel. And again, how I was explaining and how I do it, I guess, is to me, what's at a premium is learning something about your relationship. If you're trying to understand your profitability, it may not be the best channel for you. Stick with Google Ads. We'll do an episode on that one. So to kind of end here, I just want to talk about like the future of LinkedIn. We can take this anyway. I'll start so you can think, Kevin, is to me, I think the future of LinkedIn, what I would kind of love to see is more video content that's creative. And here's the reason why, as we just talked about, is I'm so confident that these are the right people at the right time that I can really get creative with the testing of the actual video, right? Let's just do something outrageous. Let's do something very brand forward. I think from what I've observed over the past 3, 4, 5 years I've been doing this is like, we're a little afraid to do that still. It's like, it's a professional business channel. We don't want to like really push to the edges. So I think for the future of LinkedIn, I'm going to try to start doing that. I would love to see if the platform does that. And hopefully we all do. Now, for you, Kevin, you can give us any answer you want. Future of LinkedIn, where do you want to take it?
LinkedIn has been surprising to me, just how they've operated over the last like 5, 6 years. Like, LinkedIn was a very different place. I think back, even Aaron, you and I were in college like 10 years ago. LinkedIn was just like a place where you put your resume. It was truly like a networking. It wasn't social media. Like there was no content. So I don't know. I'm just excited to see what they come up with because they've surprised me so much in transitioning to more of a content platform, to building a pretty sophisticated ad product. I would like to see a little more like reliable measurement. I would like to see, at least on like I was saying, like actual conversions, like events that happen on the website. I would like to see a little more clarity and transparency on that. Um, I would like their tracking pixel, their LinkedIn Insight tag, whatever you call it. Like it seems a little clunky the way you set things like retargeting audiences and things like that. It's not nearly as intuitive as it is on Facebook. Um, and sometimes you install the pixel and you don't even know for sure if it's like collecting data. There's ways you can test that, but it's never 100% clear. So that my answer is more of like the back end, like operational things. I think things could be a little more smoother within the ad platform, but it's still a really sophisticated and like impressive ad product overall.
Totally agreed. I'll agree with that back end comment because I would say as far as maybe working quickly in the platform, it's probably my slowest platform just because of some of the capability within the back end. But as you said, it surprised us. And if it surprises us again, we'll do an episode on it and we'll talk about it. I'm happy to get there. Okay, so I think that's all for LinkedIn ads. I'm thinking we may do Facebook ads next, but just some other things I was thinking as we talked about is I think maybe we should do like an account structure episode. Maybe we should do a breakdown of maybe specific ads and how you run those. And then maybe farther down the line, I know we kind of talked about goals and measurement, but maybe talk more about like what to do with data. Like how can you actually use it in your job as a performance marketer and like maybe some things to avoid. So I'm pitching that to everyone listening because I want you to ask those questions. So we can start doing those questions live. Again, I'll have an email in the show notes. You can email that. You can DM myself or Kevin on LinkedIn. We're happy to talk. But this is another edition of Performance Marketer Roundtable. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Kevin. And we'll do another one soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.